Welcome back. Today is yet another amazing day for another experience with another amazing expert. Today is all about families. My heart is for the family unit. Like, I am so drawn to the family unit that anyone that is doing work for the family unit just touches my heart. And so when I was choosing experts, this expert caught my attention because his work is to help families. And he's done it for the longest time. And I just wanted to have a conversation with him around the work he does because it is so impactful. I just want everyone to learn about it, the awareness, the knowing, and hopefully at the end of it all, you can share it with one person whose family can be transformed by the work of this expert. I'm talking about none other than Gregory Meadows, a dynamic owner of Walking Meadows and an esteemed family coach. With over 21 years of coaching experience, Gregory has guided hundreds of families find peace, connection, and love. As a speaker, parenting class facilitator, and support group leader, he brings a wealth of knowledge and compassion to his work. His diverse skills include over 14 years in nonprofit and more than 20 years in sales analysis and clinical settings. He excels in critical decision-making, project management, social media campaigns, and leading groups. He's known for his proficiency in high-stress situations and problem solving. He's adaptive and fostering a positive change and growth in the world. Through his deep immersion or immersive virtual parenting classes and one-on-one coaching, Gregory offers confidential support to caregivers and adolescents. He specializes in navigating life's major challenges, such as grief, trauma, bullying, or stress. Today, I really want to dive in and get him to share his wisdom with us and help us understand how we can really save our families and live the life that we once dreamed of living. Mr. Gregory, welcome to the World's Best Kept Secret podcast. I am honored that you're my guest today.
Thank you, Prima. I'm honored to be here.
What did I miss when I talked about the work you do that we need to know before diving in?
Yeah, you mentioned a lot of great things. I think the most important thing is that parents don't get a manual on how to do everything perfectly. And so we need to be open to learning, being open to growth, and everybody is doing the best that they can. So when we come from that place where we know we're doing the best we can, but we could still use a little bit of help, that allows us to grow as parents and help create the life that we want, but also prevent stress, conflict, things like that in the future.
Tell me exactly how you help people.
So when I talk with people, I can help sort of decode all the different layers to what's going on. And what that means is I use my insight into family systems and trauma to share with families what's going really well, because some families may not know, like, oh, this is going really well, or they may not see it as a strength. But then I also can help say, here's some problem points that you may not see on top of what you already see. And then we can start to make a plan of how to get from where they are now to where they want to be.
I like it. So paint for me a picture. Where is the person that is coming to you for help today? Like, what is their current place? Where are they right now? What's the pain? What's the place they are sitting? Because there's someone listening going, I wonder if you can help me. And so I want you to paint a picture for us, like who is the person and what is their worry before they start to work with you?
So the parent is either a single parent or a partnered parent who um, might be experiencing some frustration.
Mm,
They're not sure uh, why they keep running into the same problems,
mm,
and they may not be able to see what to do next, or they may at least be able to see, hey, if I don't get this under control,
mm,
this is going to spiral into something that could be way bigger of a problem. Does that make sense?
mm. It does. I would still wonder if it's more like we're having conflict in the family. We are having a lot of. I would wonder what specific scenarios you can share so that people get to know, yes, that's what we are facing, and we're definitely looking for help.
Yeah, yeah. So oftentimes, parents are overwhelmed, they're frustrated, they're working a lot, or maybe they're starting a business,
Mm,
and they are um, realizing that they themselves as a parent are not acting or reacting the way they want to be, right?
mm,
So
mm,
maybe they are being short, maybe yelling, maybe um, blaming the child, like,
mm,
oh, the child is causing this issue and that sort of thing. It's not me.
mm,
Uh, but also, some behaviors or things that can come up in the family is um, lots of conflict around school or around chores, where they can't seem to get their child to do what they need to do and things like that. So there's like conflict, communication issues, stress.
mm,
Children are acting out. Um, maybe they're running away from the home, or maybe they're trying drugs for the first time. Maybe they are not attending school, things like that.
I would love to hear where you started with all this. How did you get involved in this? I think your story would be really nice for us to pick from your experiences so we can kind of see that you're really talking because you've been there and you've
Yeah,
experienced these things. Because I believe that that's what makes your work really powerful.
yeah, yeah. So I grew up in a pretty tumultuous, conflict-driven childhood.
Mm,
My own family did a lot of emotional and verbal abuse, yelling, screaming. Nothing was ever right, and grew up um, just lots of emasculation and disrespect and just challenges, being the oldest child. So uh, growing up in that sort of childhood kind of planted some seeds that allowed me to have compassion for families, for other
mm,
children going through stress, trauma, abuse, things like that. And
mm,
I always tell this story that when I was in high school, I kind of knew what I was good at, but I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. And the
mm,
guidance counselor said, "Hey, well, what do you want to do?" And I said, "Well, I'm not sure, but I like talking with people." And they suggested being a therapist. And I
mm,
said, okay, I'll do that. And so I went to college and got a degree in psychology, and then a few years later got a life coaching certification. And I have a saying, out of your greatest wound can come your greatest gift.
mm,
I feel that children, as we're growing up, the seeds of who we are going to become
mm,
um, get planted there. And as we grow up, we sort of get to discover our purpose, our passion, our gifts and talents. And so for me, I have a gift and a talent for understanding families because I went through my own experience as a child. And, I want children to change this planet for the better
Mm,
in one generation. I want to be bold. And I feel that if we can help parents heal themselves and allow children to do what they do, which is use their creativity, use their imagination,
mm.
challenge the status quo, we can change this planet.
What a way to change the generations than impact the future, like the next generation. I really love this. I know you have a process for helping families, and I would love for you to share it if you don't mind. Like your process over the years for helping people come from this place of misunderstanding, miscommunication, conflicts to really what they want, which is a peaceful family that is thriving.
Yeah.
Mm,
So there's a couple ways that I can interact with families.
mm,
Um, One of them is one-on-one. So this is for a family who really wants individualized support.
mm,
They would contact me via email or phone, and we would set up a consult. And then from there, we would lay out a 4-week plan.
mm,
I really believe that I want to do a lot of work in the first 4 weeks. If we can make the biggest shift in the first 4 weeks, I can help set them on a path and give them homework and give them tools that they can implement going forward.
mm,
A second way that families can reach out or interact is through a virtual parenting class. That is a 9-week confidential class where they're in with other families. And the greatest gift among just teaching them how to think and interact with their children differently is we create new friendships and new relationships with other families because oftentimes families feel alone. They're the parents have friends that are not going through the same things that they're going through. And so we end up creating relationships and letting other parents know that they're not alone when
mm,
they're dealing with these challenges and that sort of thing. And
mm,
so do a 9-week course there. If families graduate, we do a refresher class every 6 months at no charge to them. And we
mm,
can offer them email and text and phone support during that virtual parenting class for more individualized support around the principles of the parenting class.
mm,
And then the last way would be a virtual private parenting support group. This is where I have 6 families or less. They can come to the class and get individualized um, support with other families. It's a little bit smaller than the parenting class,
mm,
and they get real-time feedback and can actually be with other families. And it's more problem challenge focused. The
mm,
parenting class is more psychoeducation. So we're teaching principles and tools with a little bit of support. And then, of
mm.
course, the one-on-ones are the greatest amount of support.
So I'm going to put something for my editor because I want him to cut this and put it somewhere else. Hi, Emma. So if you're watching this, I want you to cut Gregory's how to work with him and put it right after the part I'm going to ask him now because I want his process to come before his offer. And so I want you to cut this answer and put it right after the answer he's going to give because he's giving the how before the process. But I want him to give his process and I want to ask him the next questions before this part. But this part is fine. It's just it's in the wrong order. So I want you to cut out this, but I want you to bring his process before his offer. Cut. So Mr. Gregory, I know that you have a process like point A to point Z of this parenting mix or chaos. And I know
Mm.
that you do have a thought leadership around it. And my question at this point is if I was a parent and I just thought, oh, parenting is chaotic and these things happen and, kids misbehave and everything is chaos, and I'm on this video and I'm going, so maybe it's not as chaotic. Maybe it's actually people who figured it out. There's people who have an actual process to help me. I would love for you to educate this parent around. I know you have back-end programs and everything, but at this point, I want you to help us with the process of, so how does it work so that they can begin in their mind to understand why they don't have the results that they have?
That's a really great question, Prima. So oftentimes you're right. Parents kind of know when things are going wrong, or
Mm,
they know if they're overreacting and things like that. And so this is an opportunity to have an expert come alongside you
mm,
and and reinforce the positive things you're doing and also point out some of the challenges. And so we can do that in real time in talking with parents, them reaching out to me via text or email or phone. And they can say, well, here's the situation. Here's what happened. I did this, they did this, my child did this, and that sort of thing. And so by sort of replaying the events,
mm,
and talk about where there could have been a pivot or a turn or a step back or a step forward, if that makes sense. So
mm.
when I'm talking,
What I'm picking from you is that you seem to have like a consulting model where every situation is different. And so you don't have like process 1, 2, 3, 4, where you take people through. It's like every individual is different. And so I am going to help them based on what's happening for them. Am I hearing that correct? Or are you saying, no, there's still a system behind that I'm taking them through, even though I am customizing it for them?
it's really each family is unique.
Mm,
So one size will not fit all, right?
mm,
There are some common themes that happen in families,
mm,
but each parent reacts different, learns different, needs different types of practice, and each kid is different, right? So it's a unique combination of factors
mm.
and stresses and challenges. So being able to respond to that uniquely and individually is the most important. If I were to apply kind of a universal process, that will not work for every family.
But do you have like buckets? Like when I think about parenting, my head goes maybe communication. My head goes to, I don't know. Like I can imagine different situations in my family that probably, I don't know, maybe planning, maybe goals, maybe um I don't know if it makes sense, but how can you bracket the areas of the family unit that
Yeah.
always bring chaos if not attended to? If because we need to know where to look. Is it the marriage that may be affecting the family, or is it the relationship with kids, or is it just the teenage, the adolescent age, or is it the parents of my parents? Like, are there like brackets to kind of drop in and kind of say, oh, we need to look at that and that and that and that. I don't know if I'm
Yeah.
asking the right question.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. So there are a couple different angles which to
Mm,
look from.
mm,
So one is the individual child. What's
mm,
going on in their life? How are they doing in school? What kind
mm,
of friends do they have, right? Then there's the parent or parents, right?
mm,
So how do they feel as a parent? Are they feeling like they're able to spend quality time with their children? Are they able to accomplish the other things that they need to do in their life? And then a third factor would be the how, like, if it's two parents, how are they parenting together,
mm,
right? Are they on the same page? Do they communicate? Do they have the same values around um, rules and boundaries and consequences and all those sorts of things? So, and then there would be sort of a fourth potential factor, which is, religious, spiritual community,
mm.
grandparents, how does that impact the family system? So I would say that there would be 3 to 4 buckets to look at.
Mm,
right? Look at the child as an individual, look at the parent as an individual,
mm,
look at the parents if they're partnered as a system,
mm,
then a larger context of family, community, culture, society.
mm. In your many, many hours of doing this, what do you find to be the hardest part of harmonizing families?
Willingness to change.
Is it the willingness to change or the willingness to unlearn what they think they know?
Yes and yes. Yes. You know, if a family was if everything was going right in a family,
Mm,
there would be harmony. There would be
mm,
balance. There would be love. There would be communication, that sort of thing. And because something is not going great, doesn't mean that parents are bad, that children are bad. Most of the time, it's behaviors, and behaviors can be learned and unlearned, right?
mm,
So we can unlearn problematic behaviors and learn new behaviors to replace them,
mm,
right? And so, you know, it can be tough to change. It can be tough to change the story that we develop in our minds about our children. You
mm,
know, it can be tough for children to change, but they have less practice being on the planet. So it's
mm,
up to us as parents to do that work and bridge the gap and model it for the children because they're going to grow up and have relationships and have children, hopefully, and those sorts of things, right? And so if we don't model that and
mm.
prepare them for the world, they will go into the world and it can be a bumpy place for kids who are not prepared.
I love it. As you talk through how you help people, I got a sense that you have virtual and you have in-person work, or is it, did I pick the wrong signal there? I got a sense that you actually work with people desk to desk, like you come and see me physically and I help. But I also got a sense that you do virtual work. Could you give me clarity around how you actually help people? Is it in person? Is it both in person and virtual? Or
Yeah, it can be in person. I live in Denver, Colorado, in the United States.
hmm,
I am willing to travel, but a lot of the work can be virtual as well, depending on a family, if they're traveling, um, if they're long distance, and things like that. So I'm open to both,
hmm,
based on the family's needs.
I love it. 21 years of doing this and still breathing the work. I would guess that your heart is for the children, though. Who is your heart for? Is it the children? Is it the parents? I get the feeling
Well,
that your heart is for the children.
the heart, yeah, the heart is for the children because they're
Mm,
going to change this planet for the better. So as adults,
mm,
we sort of shut down our imagination. We shut down our creativity. We shut down our curiosity about why things are the way they are. A lot of times we accept the way that society is, the way that our culture is, the way that our political systems are. And children don't have that. They haven't been beaten down by the world yet, and told that they can't do this and they can't do that. And
mm,
so children are creative, they're imaginative, they're curious, and in a really great way, they can be a little rebellious and they
mm.
can challenge the status quo. So I really believe that children can change this planet in a profound way if we as adults heal ourselves and get out of the way and just let
Mm.
them do the great work that they are going to do.
I love that message. Get out of the way. That is my biggest lesson from Gregory. You, as a parent, if you can allow yourself to get out of the way, your children will surprise you. They will change the world.
Yeah,
What is it we haven't touched that people need to know about the work you do? What did we miss?
I truly believe that parents have a noble intention that their children are to grow up to be great adults,
Mm,
great citizens, and that sort of thing. So I truly believe that most parents are doing the best they can. And I just want to use a strengths-based approach to add to what they're already doing that's great. Because each
Mm,
family has really wonderful things about their family
mm,
and has things that maybe are challenging. And, I'm not here to shame anyone or judge anyone, but I want to remind families that, like, for families that are struggling, families that want more harmony, that it can be done in the midst of all of that pain and conflict and feeling of hopelessness and that sort of thing. It can get better. It can get better.
If I was listening in and going, maybe this is the hope. I've been praying, and there's this man on YouTube saying my family can get better. Maybe it's a miracle from God. What should I do to actually make this miracle come to life?
Yeah, exactly. You can reach out to me, Gregory at walkingmeadows.com.
Hmm.
And you can also find me on Facebook and Instagram at Walking Meadows. And reach out and email me. Or you can even call me. My numbers are on my website and on social media. So,
Hmm. We will put every link that can lead you to his work in the show notes. So if you're on wherever you're watching this from, there'll be notes below this, and just scroll through. And we should give you every way that you can contact Gregory, and whichever way is easier for you, he'd be more than happy to have a chat with you. Just let him know where you saw him, and he'll probably know what he promised you when he said reach out. He won't be
yeah.
angry at you. What would be your last words of wisdom to someone who is parenting in the dark? I like to call it parenting in the dark because you somehow got married. By luck, you're still married. And then by luck, you got children, and okay, that didn't kill you. By luck, you're going through this, and hopefully you end up alive. I call that living through life blindfolded. That's how I like to call it. When you haven't stepped in and educated yourself and gotten the awareness and the tools and the help, I feel like you're just living through life blindfolded, and hopefully the car doesn't crash you one day. So if there
Yeah.
was a parent who was literally walking through this process blindfolded, what would you have to say to them before we jump off as words of guidance for where they are right now?
Yeah. Um, I would ask a parent, what is your why? And what I mean by that is, um, what do you hope for? What do you want for your family? What do you want for your children? And a lot of times we may not know the answer to that, but
Mm,
having a big enough why, like, why are we doing this? What do I want for them? Why
mm,
am um, why am I taking my children on vacation? Why did I decide to have a family, right?
mm,
Or even if I didn't decide to have them, you know, why am I going to be the best parent? What is the why? And I think when you have a big enough why,
mm,
things come into view. We have a direction, we have a destination, and the journey, because it's like many people say, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey, but
mm,
we need to know the direction in which we want to go, right? And to really be curious, to take a breath, take a pause
mm,
when things are tough, ask lots of questions, and don't be afraid to ask for help.
mm,
It can be the greatest gift you've ever given yourself and your children and your children's children.
amazing. Amazing. I think my last words for this one will be a lot of things can happen to you. You may have been going through life, really blindfolded, everything happened to you, but parenting does not have to. I believe that the world has come to a place where walking blindfolded may get you in trouble. In the past, you probably would. If you're living in Uganda, where I am right now with my husband, you might try because it's not yet busy and technology is not yet that serious. But if you're walking in the middle of London blindfolded, I think you could get yourself in trouble. And so I strongly believe that now more than ever, we don't have as much laxity to just go through life blindfolded. I think it is becoming more and more required to be aware and to get the tools and to supplement whatever we know. For someone that is walking through this the way your great grandfather did it, I really want to commend you for doing a good job, because the world, I feel, has just gotten harder and harder, and we need help. And it doesn't make you less of a human being or less of a courageous person or less of a man or woman to step up and say, I need help. It doesn't make you a bad parent to say, I need help. And so if you have any belief that says you become less of anything by asking for help, I think that is the thing that I want to wash away. There's so many things you can do to support the work that we do. But one of the things, the biggest things that you can do is to share this episode with a family that you believe could need some help, could use some help, could find this helpful. If each family that watched this was to share this with another family, this message could move for as long as marketing exists, and we would still be relevant. It would still move. And that is something you and I can do. You share this message with one parent that you believe could use some tools today to bring peace and joy to their family. I believe there's no marketing that can beat our will to share this message. And so if you're listening to this, that's my ask. If you have benefited from this message, that's my ask. Please share this message with one person, because this community is being built one person at a time. I appreciate your time with us today, and have a beautiful day. That is it, my friend. To listen to more exclusive interviews like this one, simply go to the World's Best Kept Secret podcast.com and select interviews based on preferred topic.